Now, today I stand before you 1 year on from when the war in Ukraine started. And I remember it very well, because I was woken up at 3:30 in the morning by my private secretary telling me that there'd been a full-scale assault on Kyiv, on cities across Ukraine, both by air and by land. This was the first full-scale war we would see in Europe for decades. Now, we responded very quickly. We put in place severe sanctions. Britain led the way. We were the first European country to supply weapons to Ukraine. And we did all we could to try and stop the invasion happening, because we had very good intelligence that it was going to take place. But the reality is we should have acted earlier. We should have allowed Ukraine to join NATO when they asked to. We should have made sure we weren't dependent on Russia for oil and gas and the finance that flowed in to Europe from Russian oligarchs. And we're now in a position where we're helping the Ukrainians, but they are the people fighting for freedom and democracy on the front line. They are the people facing the huge human cost of the atrocities that are taking place in their everyday lives. And my message today is we need to learn the lessons of this war. We need to learn the lesson that we can't take freedom for granted, that you have to fight for freedom, that you have to make the case for freedom, and you have to be prepared to defend freedom. And that's what I want to talk about today, about how India is going to play a crucial role in the next few years, because I really believe that these years will be crucial as to whether we end up in a world where authoritarian regimes have the upper hand, where they're the people making the decisions, they're the people dictating the future direction of the world, or whether we see democracy and freedom prevail. And the reason that we believe in freedom and democracy in this room is we know it is the best for human life, for our societies. We know that when we give people opportunities, when we allow people to start their own businesses, when we get people into work, when they are able to express themselves, we know that generates the ideas, the opportunities, the creativity that leads to growth and leads to opportunity. And that's what we've seen in our societies. So what do we need to do? What does India need to do? Well, first of all, we need to make the case. We need to mount a fight back against those authoritarian regimes and state capitalism who have been dominating the debate. Secondly, we need to make sure that we're working much more closely together economically. And thirdly, we need to up our levels of security and make sure we're collaborating on security. And this is something that I pursued as Foreign Secretary and as Prime Minister with India, but we need to deepen those relationships, and we also need to extend it to others who want to defend the cause of freedom.